Hello, everybody. So you guys been hearing this scare going around about this coronavirus. Again, guys, we're not. I don't know if you can say this here, but we're not being pussies about this. You know, we want the safety for your families, the safety for our families. So, so we been doing a little research on it and on how to protect ourselves. I'm not saying we're not going to get it. I'm not saying none of that, but if we have some stuff at home that can prevent us from being hungry, thirsty, anything.
Yeah, the virus that's going around is the perfect excuse to talk about this kind of thing.
It is,
but it's really
perfect.
Something that you should prepare for anyway.
Anyways, absolutely.
Say that you live down south. A hurricane could hit at any moment. You might be stuck in your home. You might have to get out of there fast. And you don't know what's going to happen. Up here where we live, it could be a big snowstorm that just locks everybody into their houses for a few days. It could be, a power out situation. It could be a pandemic like we got going on now, where people are going to be told to stay in their homes for however long.
Look at what's happening at these our local grocery stores right now.
You can't find toilet paper. You can't find water.
Even to do this video,
we couldn't even find pinto beans.
We couldn't find pinto beans at the store.
Yeah.
Toilet paper, stuff like that. It's getting crazy.
So,
but just a little pointer tip, I could say, from the Tops family to your guys' family.
Yeah. So we reached out to three of our designers, three guys that have quite a bit of experience in different areas, and each of them we gave them kind of a different scenario, and asked them, what are the top 5 things that you would say you need to be okay in a situation?
Yeah, at least for a couple weeks. At least I'm not saying you're going to go out and you're going to live in the woods.
Yeah, you're not going to live in the woods. It's just not going to happen.
At least they'll get you by. It'll get you by for a couple weeks. And
so the first one we asked was Joe Flowers. He's a machete master. He's a bushcraft guy. He does a lot of training down in the jungle, a lot of survival training. He does a lot of training actually with children as well. Just a really knowledgeable guy. He's got a lot of dirt time, as it's called.
Yeah, he's the owner of Bushcraft Global.
Bushcraft Global, yep. And so the situation we gave him was, if you had to get out fast, hurricane, maybe things in town are getting crazy, and you've got to get out. You're going to be gone for a few days, maybe a week, or maybe you have a place outside of town where you're going to go that's safe. You've built a shelter already, whatever that situation is. What are the top 5 things you need if you're leaving your house? And he came up with a list that actually matched the list that another one of our designers gave us. And so there's the top 5 things in no particular order. We're talking about something to boil water. Simple little cup. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something huge. This thing probably has a capacity of, maybe half a quart.
Yeah.
It's small. It's lightweight. It can handle the heat of a fire. So you can boil multiple times with this. This one has its own kind of handles built onto it. You don't necessarily need this exact item, but something to boil water. If you can carry something bigger and boil more at a time, better for you.
Yeah, so again, everybody, this is stuff that we found. If you guys have better ideas, comment on this. Help people out that are watching these videos that really are really interested of putting a kit together or something like this. If you have better ideas or places you can find them, let them know. Let us know too. We want to do it as well. But this is stuff that we found.
And this is not the be all end all list either.
No.
So this is. We're by no means experts in this. We're just trying
even like say you don't have something like this, even your canned foods and stuff like that. They come in these tin cans. They can help you. They can also help you do the same thing you would do with something like this.
So a couple of the other items for getting out of town. One that'll come up a lot is something to provide a makeshift shelter. You've got to have a tarp. You've got to have something waterproof. This particular item is a waterproof bivy, so this will function as a tarp. You can use it as a poncho. You can use it in multiple ways. This one is lightweight and packable. If you don't have something like this, you can take a regular tarp that you would get at a place like a Home Depot or a Lowe's.
Ace Hardware, something like that. So,
in order to secure this, in order to tie it up, in order to be able to use it, you're going to need cordage of some kind. Everybody knows 550 cord. It's standard, it's light, it's cheap, it's strong.
Yeah, you can find that in.
You can't go wrong with 550 cord. Get some of the real stuff. Make sure that it's got 7 strands of nylon weave on the inside. That's the stuff that's going to hold 550 pounds, not the cheap stuff you're going to find.
So you also find some stuff like say at Walmart that they use like for I don't know construction workers. They use that stuff. It will last for a little bit, but it snaps real easy. You know, we tried it at shows to hang banners, and when when you don't realize it falls and pin people. But so 550 is probably one of the best ones to use.
Yeah, you need a cord that's going to be able to handle some weight, and that you can untie and reuse. So 550 cord fits that bill really well because it's thin, light, and very strong. Okay, on top of that, you're definitely going to need a knife. I mean, that's obvious. So we've got a couple options here: machete, SXB. Something probably larger than you would take camping or hunting for like a normal for a normal day out, because you're gonna need it to be able to do large and small tasks. So that's why a lot of times you'll see suggestions like a machete or like a nice heavy chopper like an SXB. It kind of depends on your environment, your skill level, what you're used to, but those are important to have. And of course, some way to start fire. Okay, The ferro rods are great because they're waterproof. You can soak this thing in water. You could probably freeze it, unthawed, and it's still going to throw sparks. Your Bic lighter, it's great.
Yeah, your Bic lighter.
Great until it gets wet.
It is, but say you can use it. This is the fast, easy way to start a fire.
Yeah, if you can take a Bic lighter and keep it dry,
absolutely.
Take a Bic lighter. You don't need to be starting fire with sticks. It's 2020, all right? Take something that'll start a fire quick and easy. Because if you're cold and you're hungry and you're outside of your comfort zone, starting fire gets a lot harder. Okay, so just take a lighter. If it gets wet, have something to back it up, like a ferro rod or some other way of starting fire. If you have your own packable tinder, if you have your own stuff like that, take that too. But at the very least, you need at least one way to start fire, if not 2 or 3. Okay, so that's kind of your standard get out of town, minimum. This is the minimum I'm going to do to survive getting out of my house. Okay, a good backpack is nice to have. You don't have to have some crazy survival backpack. As long as you have something that'll hold your stuff, you're good to go. It could be your kid's backpack.
Yeah, your kid's backpack. Empty them out, load them
dump out their homework because they're not going to need it. Load your shit up and go.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
But even for that, a handgun, dude. Handgun's always good too. Joe, and this is something that I'm throwing in there.
Yeah.
But like Joe, wherever he travels, he can't carry handguns. But for us, being like say here in Idaho, you can always have a gun with you. And in this situation, they don't give a shit what happens.
You need to have a gun with you.
But carry a gun. Carry a nice handgun. We're not going to say any kind of brand, but a handgun, a couple extra mags, that would definitely.
That's great for personal safety on your way out. If you got the weight, if you can carry it, you should take a rifle too. If you don't know how long you're going to be out there, it's a means to get food.
Correct.
So yeah, firearms kind of go without saying, but yeah, we should say it. So firearms are good to have for this kind of situation. All right, so now you're stuck in your house. All right, maybe the power's out. Like we were saying, maybe you're in a really bad snowstorm. You're not getting out anytime soon. Maybe there was a flood or a hurricane or there's something that's got you stuck in your house, a quarantine, whatever it is. You're stuck in your house. What are the 5 things that you need to have, assuming you can't just go down the street to the grocery store and pick some stuff up? Okay, so this was from E.J Snyder. E.J is an Army vet. He's a survivalist. He's got a wealth of experience. He's been on Naked and Afraid 3 or 4 times now. He was on one of the seasons of Dual Survival. He's got a lot of experience. Okay, and actually one of the episodes they did with Dual Survival, they got stuck in Turkey at the airport.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah. So this actually applied for them at that moment. They were thinking, what do we need to get right now? First thing they did is they filled up a bathtub with water, and then they started looking for food. I remember that. So, okay, so you're stuck in your house. A couple of things that you're going to want: either stored fresh water or a way to purify water that you're getting out of your tap.
Yeah, even fill up a couple gallons. Fill up a couple gallons at home. Yeah. Barrels if you have them, whatever, but water, just water.
Yeah, fresh water, if you got it, is perfect because you don't have to boil it, you don't have to treat it. If you don't have fresh water, like I said, filling up the bathtub, the power goes out, first thing I do is fill up my bathtub. Because I don't know when it's coming back on. Maybe I'm paranoid, but that's however many gallons of water that I've got ready. If I need to boil some water, if I need to clean something, if I need to do something. And typically what they say is in a survival situation, each family member needs about a gallon of water per day. So imagine how many people you got in your home. Imagine how many days you might be stuck there. That's how many gallons of water you need. Okay. So water, you got to have water. Food, you can live a lot longer with just water than you can with no water. Food, you can last a little bit longer without food, but water is key. Food that has a long shelf life. Canned goods are great. As long as something is canned properly, typically it will survive way past the expiration date printed on the can. As long as the can's not damaged, and as long as the food inside of that can was canned properly, no bacteria in that can, that food's gonna last way longer than the date on the food. So that's one thing, your survival foods, MREs, there's companies out there making survival foods now that are like MREs, but taste a little better. There's a lot of options, but the point is...
It's crazy because lately we've been getting samples of that.
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of samples sent to us.
So yeah, food that has a long shelf life. You just need something that's gonna last more than a few weeks. And again, think about how many people you have in your household. Think about how many times a day you eat. Start doing the math.
Of course, you'll have to tone it down a little bit. Oh, I eat 4 times a day because I'm going to the gym. 5 times a day, you have to tone it down.
5 times a day because I just eat.
Yeah, or drink. You know what? Beer is beer. Something?
Beer's not on the list, but we should add it.
We should add it.
Beer. Make sure just beer. Make sure you got some of that laying around. Meds get really valuable really fast.
They do.
When you can't get them.
So even here at a local store, like say Walmart, go try to find like Motrin for your kids, stuff like that. It's hard to find them.
Right now it is.
It's hard to find them, but something like for fever, colds, headaches, whatever, it's good to have some of that around. No matter if this is happening or not, but it's always good to have them in your house.
Yeah, it's easy to handle a fever when you can go to the doctor and get this or that.
Correct.
It's not so easy to handle a fever when you're stuck in your home and you've got nothing available. So, stock, it's not that you need a lot of stock of this kind of stuff, but you should always have some on hand. If you have prescriptions, never let them get too low before you refill them. It's like your vehicle. Never let it get under a quarter of a tank of gas. No. You should always have some gas in your vehicle. You should always have your refill close by if it's a prescription that you need to continue taking. Because if you're stuck in your house for a month and you've got 3 days left of your prescription medication that you have to take, that's going to be a bad time for you. So medication's an important one. Cleaning supplies, Lysol wipes.
If you can find them, get them.
Find them.
Clean. It's
clean.
Hard to get right now.
You got to keep your place clean. If you're going to be stuck there with your family, everybody's touching the same things all day long. It's going to get hard to stay clean if the power's out and you can't wash your hands because there's no water pressure. Hygiene becomes a lot more difficult to maintain than in a normal everyday situation. So cleaning supplies are important. E.J, because he's so comfortable with the handling this kind of a situation, just said you need some creature comforts. You need some books maybe that you haven't read. You need some games you can play with your family. You need something to keep yourself sane. Because if you're stuck in your house, especially if the power's out, you're going to get real bored after a few days. And you don't want to start axing doors and getting that cabin fever going on. So that's your I'm stuck in my house kind of situation. Of course, there are more options. Maybe there are some better options. Let us know what you think. If we got something totally wrong or we missed something super important, let us know. Last but not least, I like this one a lot. So it's a similar situation. Maybe you're stuck in your home, but it's a lights out, no tech type situation. Your cameras that you have on your house, they're out. Your internet, gone. Your fancy doorbell off. You got just what you can get. What's in your house. So how do you handle a low-tech situation?
So these little battery operated alarms for your say your main doors, windows, stuff like that, you can probably hear them break. But something like this that triggers you, and then you run to this. Then something's happening.
Yeah.
If nobody's coming over because of this, things are getting crazy. So again, I go back to firearms. I always carry one with me, either on my person, in my car. So this is something really good to have. Even like again, out in the woods for food, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just a couple mags, ammo, stuff like that.
Ideally, if you're in your house and you're gonna be stuck there for a while, you should be prepared. Everyone in your house should know where the firearms are, whether or not they're loaded, how to
Correct.
get to them, and how to handle them. You gotta be safe with this kind of stuff, especially if you got kids in your house. But you need some way to protect your family. If the lights are out for long enough, it's going to be dangerous.
It is. Your next door neighbor, he's probably not thinking the same thing you're thinking. He's probably thinking, I'll go to a store, break into the store. Everybody's thinking the same thing. But you having this at your house, you ain't gonna have to go fight with the crowd. You ain't gonna go put your life at risk. But if you start hearing doors kicking open, they're coming after your food, after your family, after your belongings. So
Yeah, people in situations where things get crazy and the rule of law is gone, people don't treat each other like they would otherwise.
Yeah.
So
your next door neighbor could be your worst enemy.
yeah, I think your firearms number one. Then you need ways to secure the house. There's a couple of things you can do with string and cans. You can use the same canned goods that you had stored up.
Correct.
Don't throw those cans away. Well, you're not going to be able to, the trash isn't going to be coming to pick them up anyway. So you can use those tin cans as signaling devices. Once they're empty, they make a lot of noise. They're light, and nobody's going to walk past a can sitting in your yard and think twice about it until they trip over a string, and then the can rattles against another can, and you hear somebody coming. Okay, so a can and a stick and dental floss. This was from Joshua Swanagon, by the way. Joshua Swanagon designed the Cut 4.0, designed the Backwoods Skinner, has a lot of martial arts experience, has some policing experience, has a lot of outdoors experience. So this no-tech list is from him.
Knife and Gear Society?
Knife and Gear Society. Yeah. So say your door and window alarms, you run out of batteries, or you don't have batteries, or just say you don't have those. You can put a stick into your door, put a can on it. As soon as your door moves, that can's going to fall on the ground. You're going to have an idea which door it was. You're going to have an idea that somebody is touching that door and maybe opened it. And now you're ready. And hopefully you startled them. Now you have the element of surprise instead of the other way around. Okay, so a can and a stick, several of those positioned throughout your house. Alarms on the windows if you can.
And this could happen at night too.
Yeah.
So this could happen at night. A good flashlight as well.
Yeah.
Make sure you have at least a couple of these. And it don't have to be fancy flashlights. You can go and pick up, I think they sell like even 5-packs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's rechargeable ones that you can put in the sun, stuff like that. Stuff like that's good.
Get a good quality flashlight that's got a good amount of light. You don't have to have a million lumens, but you need something that's powerful enough for you to see well in your home.
Correct.
And hopefully make it hard for the other person to see. So flashlight's a great piece.
And
item.
I think you carry one too with you, right?
All the time.
Yeah, so do I. We always carry a flashlight with us. Again, not crazy, but in the dark we could light up this room.
Absolutely.
So it's always good to have a flashlight on you.
A piece of paper for security. This is something that you actually do a lot, especially when you stay in hotels.
Yeah.
You take a little piece of paper, you fold it up, you stick it in a door jamb. If you have to leave your home, this is for when you have to leave and you want to know what's happened when you come back. You stick that in your door after you shut it on your way out.
Airbnbs, we do it all the time.
Airbnbs,
people
hotels.
have access to that. Sometimes we're doing big shows, whether it's cash or whatever. Firearm, we can't take them to the show. We leave them there.
We've got our things there.
Yeah.
And so you leave that little piece of paper in the door. So the idea is that if somebody opens that door, that piece of paper is going to fall on the floor. It's not going to be where you left it. Most people are not going to be like, oh, hey, that piece of paper just fell out of the door. Maybe I should put it back. Most people aren't. They're not even going to notice.
Even if they do put it back,
it may not be quite right.
Just remember where you had it.
Yeah.
Just remember where you had it. Put it in front of a screw. That's what I do. I count the screws and put it in there. Little things that I do.
Put it somewhere where you're going to notice if it got moved or if it's just not there. So if somebody opens the door and it falls and they don't see it fall, they're going to see a piece of paper on the ground and not think twice about it. If they did see it fall and they try to put it back, if they didn't put it back in the same exact spot, you're going to know. So this is more of I got to leave, I got to go get some supplies and I'm coming back. Like, I got to go to the river and get some water and I'm coming back and somebody's been in my house. Okay? And then on top of that, on top of the firearm, have a good knife. Knives are what we do, so of course we're going to tell you to have a knife, but knives separate us from the animals on this planet.
Absolutely.
You
don't have to reload it. You can sharpen it on a rock. Knives is it's always good to carry a knife, no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
A knife, even to cut a rope, you need a knife.
Yep.
So.
Always have a knife on you. So, of course, there are more items to talk about. There are plenty of other things, and we're using this situation of the virus as a reason to have to do this kind of a video. But the point is, be prepared.
In a situation like this is where you really think about, man, I should have had that already.
Yeah. What do I not have?
Yeah,
what am I low on?
So now everybody's going to run to the store and try to grab this stuff. It's going to be hard to find it. So right now, before things get crazier, try to be prepared.
Get what you need now,
and be prepared. This is going to roll over. It'll roll over.
This year it's the coronavirus. Next year it's going to be the Modelo virus. Who knows? So
just be prepared, guys. Be prepared for you, for your family. I know you guys are big and tough. That's what I used to say. But now that I have a family, I think of them.
You realize how vulnerable you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So stay safe out there.
Absolutely, guys.
Make sure you have your top knife.
We'll see you guys soon, hopefully.
Take care.